Hey there. So is my audio okay? Because that was weird. I could not begin to hear the opening music well. That was just bizarre. Welcome, welcome. I'd love to see you in the chat. Wave at me. Say hello. 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 Hi. Hello. Hi, guys. Let's see. Who do we have here? We've got Britt. Hello with your wavy hand. MK. Let's see. Melanie, Becky, Heather, Anthony. Heather, you guys can hear me. Jeremy, hey. All right, great. It's probably better sound than on TikTok because I'm using my fancy setup. Fancy smancy. Right. Oh, it's a wild week. I put out the crunch report, which funny enough, I had to my tech issues, I tell you. Oh, what a wild week. I had to record the TikTok, or I had to record the crunch report on TikTok. It was a private video. It wasn't up for the public. But that ended up being for the best because I forgot. I don't know why I didn't think of doing it before. Green screen, hello. So it was probably much more entertaining than me going, let me look at the charts. So there's that. Tomorrow's a little wild. It's crunchy. After about noon Pacific, it's pretty damn crunchy. So as is expected, guys, it's just going to be wild. If you guys want to ask me questions, feel free to pop them in the comments. We're just going to play with this. You know, if TikTok is going to suspend me on false pretenses and refuse my appeal, they refused my appeal. Like, for real. It was just, hey, Jen, come on in. Oh, I was on a live stream and somebody decided they didn't like something I said and they did a bogus report accusing me of sexual violence. Yeah. Yeah, I did a TikTok about it, which okay, there's a reason I made that TikTok because I promoted it with a link to my Patreon. And I did it thinking there's no way they'll let that ad go through. It took them 3 hours. They never take 3 hours to review something you push, right? No. 3 hours they sat and deliberated on whether they were going to let that ad go through, but they took the money. So that's why I'll just announce my live streams on the Patreon and we'll just do regular live streams that way. So not that I'm going to quit TikTok. I'm not, but I was like, you know what? I'm just going to keep advertising my Patreon and I'll just announce lives and stuff that way. Erg. Yeah, it was weird. And partly they were asking a psychic question and I made fun of them. So, but yeah. You got notified I was live on YouTube? Yes. I love that. That's great. Oh, people are putting screenshots together for a class action lawsuit against TikTok. I could look it up. I don't know that I want to go through the effort, but seriously. Hi, Laura. Hey, Dwabbit. Long time no see. Well, like I said on that one video, it was just like, they're not the only game in town, you know, and I'm about to make some big changes in what we do here. The move starts on Sunday, guys. So and it doesn't mean I'll change astrology, but yeah. They blocked your comment, right? Yeah. Yeah, they do that. RRF, hello and welcome. Hello and welcome. It's good to see everybody here. Yeah. You know, it's just life. So you are also notified. I love that. Hey, Orla, good to see you. The gang's all here. Hey, Sue. Good to see you. Yeah, so screw TikTok. Again, I'm not quitting them. The one thing I do like about TikTok that I think a lot of the other platforms don't do as well is, for me at least, and maybe it's because I have Venus and Gemini, but holding that camera makes it so much easier to record for me. It doesn't feel like, this feels really formal. I've got the light in my face and I feel like I must say something important or profound. And I don't feel that way on TikTok. So, oh yeah, lots of places to go live. And I can do it more on Instagram too, even though I hate it there because I don't like Mark Zuckerberg. But I just think I'm too animated for Instagram. So, but anyway, so this week's astrology is super, super wild. Do I feel like I have to use my NPR voice? Hi, this is Laurie Rivers. I'm coming to you with all of the week's astrology. And it's going to be a little crunchy. Right? We could do the NPR voice, right? You're just here for the tea. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting this week. Coming up, because we're now I'm actually going to be doing some Twitch streaming. It may not be, I mean, there'll always be astrology, but I'm actually going to be gaming. So that's part of my daughter and my diabolical plans. We have diabolical plans. So we'll see how much we get done. But yeah, I very much do have plans for gaming and being on Twitch and smack talking astrology. So I can smack politics and game as well. So it's called multitasking. I game often when I'm frustrated and I'm just like, take this, you bad guy. Whap, whap. So blame my Sag Mars. Speaking of, Mars is going to continue to be in Scorpio until the 24th, and then it slides into Sagittarius. I'm looking forward to that personally, but I'm using my normal downtime to do it. So like 2. Kind of 2 days, hopefully. And then I'll come back and forth a little bit. So I may have to, it's an hour away. It'll be an hour away. I'm moving in closer to LA. So I'm kind of moving back because I used to live with my daughter and son-in-law, but I lived in the house and they needed me at the time I moved in. There was a lot going on. But I'm renting the guest house instead. Yeah, we're not all going to live in the same house. That's not happening. It's more inland. It's not on the coast. So it's closer to the coast, but it's not on the coast. No. I wouldn't live on a coast again. I've lived by the water in the past and I really don't suggest it. It's pretty. It's nice to visit. It's not a smart thing to do. So, but yeah. So astrology wise, it's crunchy dunchy tomorrow because the moon in Capricorn is going to be in a nice tight sextile with Mars in Scorpio. We're probably going to see more excessive use of force. We're probably going to see more intensity. It's just going to continue to be intense. And we're going to see a lot of like aggressive energy throughout as we move forward, even once the sun slides into Sag, because right after that, like the sun slides into Sag on the 22nd, and then Mars slides into Sag on the 24th. So yeah. It isn't just climate change, although climate change is certainly a part of that with sea level rise, but I can honestly tell you just from having lived very close to the water, it's just not great. I didn't even wanna do that when I did it. My grandfather always insisted that you be on high ground, and I grew up going to the Oregon coast every summer for the commercial fishing season, and the family cabin was way up. Yeah, police have been getting more and more aggressive. We're gonna continue to see that. You're gonna see a lot of things on the news you wish you didn't see. Um, and this is kind of the pot boiling over. In order to make change, things kind of have to show up, right? I mean, none of it's new. All of the stuff people are protesting about now is kind of a culmination of many years. You know, I used to be that weirdo when I would argue against certain policies or, you know, when everybody else would be flag waving, I'd be like, whoa, that's how fascism starts. Let's not go there. And they'd be like, you're just being oversensitive or you don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, I have education in this. So it's really nice to see people kind of catch up and wake up and see, you know, makes the political rhetoric really hard. And I can tell you in 2024, it is a wild year. And it's funny, you're going to see the divide between the people who get it and the people who don't. And especially at the top levels, like we're already seeing that. You've got 66% of the country asking for something. All sides, all ages, all belief systems saying, hey, ho, bad idea. And the leadership just going, la, 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 la. And that's a problem, and we're going to see more of that. It's going to, it to the detriment of the people who do not listen. Yeah, Gen Z is standing up. It is good. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It is good. And it's a long, long road. So don't expect resolution in a month, 2 months. I'm on your TV. Okay. That is so weird. Wait till I have my good camera. I'm just using my onboard camera now and it's meh. But oh my god, it feels so weird when people people tell me that I'm on your TV. Oh. So I always told you guys, like I have to pretend famous. I have to pretend like I'm like in the living room with you. So yeah, that was good. Yeah, there is, and keep putting pressure on. Like I've never, like I wasn't kidding in the patron only podcast, guys. I'm so proud of you. Keep up the action. Keep up the action. On the big screen. You guys always think I'm comfortable on camera. I'm really good at like pretending. More like, oh. But yeah, I really do. So, oh, thank you. But yeah, so it's going to be wild. It's going to be wild next week. So wild. And into next year, the intensity shifts and it changes. It's not going to be the same, just like every month kind of has its own flavor and its own theme. But you're really going to see the divide between those who are really attached to dominance and control and those who are like, hey, maybe we should do things differently because it's screwing up the planet. I once had an elected official tell me I was a radical because I was arguing for better environmental protections. And this was in Washington State, by the way. A liberal state, liberal motto. Um, Certainly not leftist. But anyway, and he was like, You're radical, you're being radical. And I was like, do you like breathing clean air? Do you like drinking fresh water? Do you like not having contaminated food? If so, you too are a radical. I was like, what's radical about that? This is a long time ago, you know. And so we're going to see those people who are just diehards dig in, and they're just going to keep digging in. And then when the pressure gets so much that they're about to be squished, then they're going to go, well, actually, um, and hopefully people aren't going to buy into they had a change of heart. They suddenly saw the light. Hopefully not. Hopefully we clear the house. You guys know, I've been yelling about this on TikTok all year. People over focus on the presidential election to the detriment of the House and the Senate. And that's how those, people who are profiting off of the people stay in power, because people don't vote down ballot. Right? Such a radical thing, man. Hey, no way, Twinsy. Oh my God, Yvette. You were watching the baby Yoda. Oh my God, you guys, this is my birthday twin. Amazing, amazing healer. Amazing, amazing energy worker. I've been thinking about you. We haven't talked in forever. How are you? Amazing musician. I dumped Messenger and all that. I got rid of it. So you have my number, though. Aw, I'm so excited, Twinsy. That is so cool. Twinsy and I go way back. Woo! TikTok suspended my live stream access, so I'm on here causing trouble. Because that's what we do. But it's okay. But yeah. So the astrology of this week is kind of gnarly. And as we move to the full moon on the 27th, it's gnarly. And Thanksgiving is super gnarly. Yeah. Honey, I heard about the Congo back in the 90s. The DRC is not a new situation. It's not new. Sudan isn't new. They have had on and off civil wars for decades, and those have caused genocides. None of that's new. Yeah. 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 Congo is not a new situation. It's been ongoing since 94. And it's the Democratic Republic of Congo, because Congo is actually next door to it, but it too has its own issues. But yeah, the DRC has been having those problems for decades. Again, I know there's a lot of older people who aren't with it and weren't woke, but some of us have been for a really long time. That's why I come on and I try to educate people. It's ongoing. And the only thing that makes change on that is if we sorry guys, it is extremely sad. We have to put pressure on companies like Apple, Tesla, all of the big firms that are mining there. Yeah, Project Olive Grove is something that's up on deck. Also in our Discord, we'll keep pointing to resources. It's kind of funny. I've had people come at me and be like, astrology isn't political, it's spiritual. And it's like, well, actually, none of that is separate. I really don't think you could be a spiritual person if you're above it all. How are you going to help anybody? How are you going to be of service? How are you going to help anybody if you're above it all? We're in this together. We're on this planet together, right? It is extremely sad. But yeah. I don't think any deep fakes or AI is quite up to fooling everybody. I think it's spotted pretty quickly right now. I don't I don't think a tax strike will work. It would have to be so well organized to make it work. It's been tried in the past and it did not go down well for the people doing it. Oh, that's cool. You tried finding a phone that was ethical. It's challenging. In Europe, there's a company that makes them. This might be a way, like, I think if enough people put enough pressure on, that's the only way that makes any kind of change. I think I found it really kind of suspicious that the SAG-AFTRA negotiations kind of ended so abruptly, and they were like, "Okay, fine." And it looks like they really screwed the lower level actors, the voice actors, etc. And it may not pass. That when I look at the astrology leading into the time they're voting now, I don't have exact dates on when the votes end, so I can't pull all the charts. But there's a possibility that a contract might not be accepted with the astrology that's up on deck. And so I was going somewhere with that. Oh, yeah. So one of my thoughts is the way they get people to turn their attention is they create distraction, and a lot of that comes through media, television, media, film. Get everybody talking about the Tiger King, get everybody talking about the latest, scandal. And if so, it's kind of up to all of us as we enter the Pluto and Aquarius era, which coming to your life very, very soon. That we keep and learn how to hold our attention, and hold our focus. And you kind of have to fight one battle at a time, or have at least a well organized, concerted effort. Oh, yeah, there's tons of propaganda and just distraction. You know, I think if you guys remember back in September when all of the big eulogies and remembrances were going on, and I said, hey, I don't have anything nice to say about it. Oh, good for you. Yeah, vote no, man. Yeah, they really screwed you guys. So, yeah, it is a cleanup opportunity. That's right. Yeah, I was very, very shocked with what they did with AI. And I think the one way you'd get it regulated is hey, Alyssa, one of the ways we could deal with that is to take IP from the studios and render it with AI and say, well, you can't copyright AI, so we AI do. And watch regulation happen pretty fast then, but I don't think it would benefit the actors. But yeah. So there's a lot, I think you're going to see more and more organization over the next 2-3 years. It's going to be a little contentious. It evens out eventually, but there's a lot that has to change. There's a lot that has to change. And as Yvette, my birthday twin, my twinsy, I'm so excited to see you here. I've been thinking about you so much. Twinsy and I've been through a lot. We've known each other for a long time. We've made it through some Pluto transits. By the way, how are you holding up, Yvette? That Pluto opposite the Sun and Mercury has been quite a bit much. Have you thought so? I've thought so. It's been a little it's been a little something something, right? But, yeah, the next couple of years are pretty wild, and then things will even out a little bit as we then start to build forward. But yeah, your sister who is in the biz is upset for the younger, yeah, working in the business because 'cause they've been lengthening the hours and quality has been going down for workers. Yeah. Yeah. And I think, when we look at the the energy of what's on the way out, which is the dominance of my way or the highway, because I said so. I'm big, you're little, I'm right, you're wrong. That's on the way out. And it's obviously being less and less tolerated. We hear some of the louder people out there, but the one thing that's given me hope is again that 66% of this country has decided, hey, that's wrong. We don't want to see that anymore. I think if you can get out of semantics and picking apart the little details, yeah, and unemployment is on the rise. Well, they killed the economy the way they said to. Like, oh, they wanted to stop inflation, so they crapped the economy. They're going to start lowering rates really early next year. You know, there's going to be all kinds of weird stuff. So, and you're going to hear a whole lot of Gen Z this and Gen Z that and got to remember some of that is propaganda too. Yes, Gen Z is being active. Yes, they are doing things. Um but it's also a marketing game, so be careful with it. Yes, I'd like to buy a house too. That would be nice. I would like my little house with my fruit trees. That would be so kind. It'd be so nice. It'll happen. But the economy probably won't crash. I mean, the housing market probably will not crash. I have not really seen evidence of that. Commercial property will crash, but yeah. It is a very good time to clear out the gunk. It is a feels like Pluto aspect. Well, we've got Jupiter on our Saturn too. That's super fun. Yeah, Pluto up Mercury, Pluto up Sun. Yeah. Oh, I think it's just I think a lot of people love Gen Z. I think the hate I don't think you're hated as much as we were hated. I think there's a lot of people rooting for Gen Z, at least in my circles. Um, I always called my youngest is Gen Z, my oldest is a younger millennial, and I always said I was raising my revenge. Who grew up with Rage Against the Machine as a lullaby? They did. But yeah, we will. We'll get our cute little house with fruit trees, some ducks, and good. The market will settle eventually and have more time to save it down. Exactly. A pole shift? Do you mean pull or pole? Right? No, Gen X loves Gen Z. We're like, rock on, man, keep going. My daughter has ducks. We'll get the duckies on camera. There's baby ducks. They're just starting to get their grown-up feathers in. Hi, Brittany. Yeah, I haven't gone live here. I can't go live on TikTok because they they suspended me for no good reason. Right? Just a little cute little house. Exactly. Cute little yard. Yeah, exactly. I'm right with you. Yeah, pole shift. Eventually. It's not gonna shift overnight. Right? Oh my god, the baby duckies are so cute. They're getting their little grown-up feathers in, but they still go "peep, peep, 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 peep," right? They might get some geese. These are Muscovies, and they've been thinking about getting some geese for the male Muscovies to hang out with. I love that. Oh, you're back in school, Dwabbit? Oh, man, I'm so happy for you. I love it. Good for you, Dwabbit. Man, this is just old home week. I love that. You've got 6 chickens. Oh, 6 little baby dinosaurs. My daughter's got some chickens too. They're super sweet. My favorite is called a buttercup. And they're they look like Henny Penny and they have a round little crown. And she's so cute. Oh, Dwabbit, you got your life back. I love it. Oh, it's gonna be wild. Well, this is fun. This has been good. This has been more fun than TikTok. I'm actually stressed out every time I go on to TikTok because I never know what's showing up. Yeah. They're cute. You're back on the land in Sebastopol. Oh. Oh, I love the Silkies baby dinosaurs. They are. They're little baby velociraptors. They truly are. Yeah. I mean, on one hand, you don't get as many, views, but at the same time, I don't know, it's not as rapid. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, roosters are allowed. I grew up on kind of a mini farm, kind of. We couldn't have chickens because of the roosters thing, so we had Muscovy ducks and they don't quack. They hiss. Yeah, the pole shift doesn't it's something that happens somewhat gradually. It's they think climate change is accelerating it, but I don't have all of the science for that. I do see the winter of 2024, 2025 being extremely intense. So far no trolls, which is great. Like I said, people want to troll me, they got to pay me. You guys control me. All my patrons control me. That's fine. I'll laugh. I'll be like, haha, you trolled me. I think what gets me about TikTok is how arbitrary they are. Like, you know, oh, thank you. Welcome. Welcome, new patrons. You just joined. I love it. Yeah, I'm worried about the ocean currents as well. I'm worried about them. I'm worried about phytoplankton, to be honest. I should have stopped in Sebastopol. I drove up to Oregon, Twinsy. I'll have to get a hold of you. There's so much tea to spill. So much tea. So much tea. So much hot tea. Yeah, yeah. They keep wanting to go up into space. I'm like, how about we figure out the ocean that we keep messing? Yeah, I am concerned about that. And it looks like the winter of 24, 25 is going to be pretty damn extreme. And then 25, 26 is also another doozy. And that's why I think like the global conflict is obviously something that the military industrial complex wants. That's apparently obvious. I've it's kind of interesting to see how things are playing out in the region. If it expands, and it could, um, it will be disrupted. And I don't see, I'm very careful about the words I use, because, and not because I'm afraid of evocation or anything like that. It's more, it's the visuals we paint. And I think most times when you think WW3, you're thinking of global thermonuclear war, at least if you're a Gen Xer, you know. And so that I don't see happening. But any traditional conflicts and traditional warfare will be disrupted in 2024, 2025. Everything feels so weird lately. I know the chime changed, but it feels like it changed drastically. Yeah, things are a little bit wonky, especially because we had Mars in opposition to Uranus, and Uranus and Saturn both kind of are the keepers of time. So, yeah. Oh, I love that. Victory Gardens. I love that. Absolutely. Yeah, and in our Discord, we have a ton of resources on hydroponic gardening, on indoor gardening, apartment gardening. You don't have to have a lot. We are golden, we are stardust, and we got to get back to the garden. Exactly. Yeah. Ah, the prophets. That's the thing, is people will say, "Oh, they were ahead of their time." They were not ahead of their time. We've been pushing our limits for this long, you know. So they are. They for sure are, my friend. Yeah, greenhouses are great. I actually found, because at some point I might wind up in Wyoming. I know. Don't ask. It's a parent thing. My parents. And and so I looked into a geodesic greenhouse, because the snow gets so heavy there. And there's a pretty cool one that's not that. Am I gonna do a meetup? Once I'm more settled, yeah, I'm still COVID cautious. So I'm trying to think of ways I can do this and not expose myself to COVID. Zach, hey, you little radical. So I do want to do meetups. I do want to do live events. I have done them in the past in other things and other ways. Um, oh my God, we should do a road trip, Twinsy. We should do a road trip. My favorite place to drive through is the Wind River Canyon in Wyoming. Right? Once it's safe. I don't know that it'll ever be safe. We just have to mitigate. So, like at any event I do, it's not mask optional. There will be masks, they will be handed out. I make my living with my brain. Yeah. It will not be mask optional. I don't even want somebody's cold, you know? So, I would like to do an outdoor event, but if I do an indoor, then it's not mask optional. So, if my daughter, who is an asthmatic, can breathe through a mask, everybody else can. Oh no. Yeah. Even if I did it in the summer, because COVID isn't really seasonal. you know, and it does cause cognitive impairment. And I can't afford that. Everything I do is because of this. Some people have good looks. I've got a brain, Yeah, I'm vaxxed too. It mitigates, right? It mitigates, but I still don't want the potential, It's just, again, this is it. That's what I've got. And I'm not good enough looking to lose that. So, yeah, nothing is just like contraception isn't 100%, So I think, so I would love to do a live meetup because I love meeting everybody. Yeah, exactly. But that's why we haven't done one. I would love to do one. So we're thinking about it. Oh, very cool. Well, it's not going to be anytime soon because I've got, especially at the beginning of the year. So the end of the year, my daughter and I, because I'm a little behind on the move because I had to do a lot of electrical work. So a lot of what we're going to be doing, um, like they had to fix the electrical. So we're going to be crunching and recording other podcasts besides the Awake Space Astrology podcast, which, by the way, I am arranging Matilda, the psychic, to be on the podcast. I'm super excited. In fact, I got to get a hold of her in a little bit. Probably will record tomorrow night, my time, to have her segment, which is super cool. Because, Twinsy, you won't believe this, but I've met someone who could be another me. It's really weird. Her predictions on she's psychic, and her predictions and my predictions are lining up. It's so trippy. You just got your flu and COVID booster. There you go. You were worried. Yeah, shingles isn't a joke. I actually had a weird version of it as like a 13-year-old because I had a really bad case of chicken pox. And then I babysat some kids who had chicken pox, but I had already had it, right? I was immune. Ha ha ha. That was not the case. We don't really have a good date for when COVID started. It would have been in 2019, not 2020. But the astrology of 2020 was massive systemic change. And that was COVID was kind of the start of it. I have looked at those charts, but I don't have them up and I don't have them memorized. So, but yeah. So, but I was warning people about 2020 back in back in 1998, 1999. I was like, you don't understand. There's something big. And we're still dealing with the energy of 2020. It rings out over time. It's massive systemic change. And that was a black swan event. It tipped the balance. It tipped us over. And so if that hadn't happened though, the stuff that's going on today, the propaganda would still be working. The fact that everybody had to stop and think and ruminate and examine is why the propaganda is no longer working. And so that's where we're seeing, we haven't even gotten into massive systemic change yet. It's just starting. And that takes time. It's not going to be over in a day or two. So, ooh, is 2 shots 2 months apart? Ugh. Yeah. Right? Feels like season 3 of 2020. Well, it's going to be a lot like that. Right? It was palpable. It was palpable. What is this black swan event? It is something that comes out of left field. It's something unexpected that moves things on a different trajectory. has yeah, looking at 2020 back in 1996 and 97, yeah, almost drove me crazy. Looking in between the years of 2020 and 2026, 2027, because it was such big energy and it was so hard to conceive of what it might be. And I also didn't know enough about astrology to be very good at predicting. I'd only been at it for a few years. And I had small children. And I was like, how do I prepare my children for this? I never regretted having my children. They were my joy. And contrary to some people's beliefs, they actually did ask to be born. So, especially my son, my youngest truly did ask to be born because a thought popped into my head that was like, hey, I need to be born. I was like, bad timing. Nope, I don't want to have another kid. I just, one is enough. No, I need to be born. And I was like, that's great. Find somebody else. I like had a half an hour internal argument. He convinced me. So I got pregnant. And he was right. He was worth it. But when he doesn't ever get to say, I didn't ask to be born. I'm like, oh, hell, you didn't. You were being telepathic with me, dude. Yeah. And the whole time I was pregnant with him, I dreamt of him. And he would be like floating in front of the earth going, hi, mom. Hi, mom. And he looked just like he did when he was born. So, yeah. Yeah. My little 5 planets in Gemini, very tall Taurus rising sun. But yeah, it has. And I also worried about this time period for myself personally when I looked out in the future and I saw my transits and I was like, oh my God, what am I going to be going through? And what's funny is it's probably the best time of my life. Like there's stuff that's being deconstructed, but it's all very positive. It's kind of like getting kicked off of TikTok for my live streams and then be like, okay, well, I guess I'll have to do this. And I sent people to join the Patreon and I can reach more people this way, right? And then the Loom video service I use was not picking up on my desktop. And I was like, fine. So I was like, what can I use? Okay, I'll use TikTok. And I'll make it a private video and I'll download it and I'll upload it. All of that ended up being a better solution than what was sitting there. So you can give yourself an existential crisis because you don't understand enough to do the interpretations. And also, there's so much that happens that we create our future, right? And our future is created by decisions we make moment to moment to moment to moment. And energy is expressed on a spectrum. So like my favorite people to read showed up for their annual reading today. I was at the Patreon Creator Fest. I was there for the keynote, man. I was there. I'm a Patreon ambassador, dude. I've been testing all the stuff. We just had a new product announcement tonight, too. You see babies in your dreams. Oh, hey, nice. But yeah, no, for real, my friend. It's been cool. Yeah, I've been an ambassador with them for 2 years and have been testing stuff. So our community has been testing like the chat functions, and there's a new tool that's being put out. I'm a little less interested in, but we'll see. I'll make it work. I really want them to add like live streaming. If I never had to leave that, I'd be fine. But yeah. Yeah, Jack is super cool. Right? Worse, he convince you need to study harder. Yeah, exactly. We often go down the rabbit hole of negativity and think of worst case scenarios. And you can't do that. So energy expresses in a spectrum, not just low to high, but this way too. It's multidimensional. And so like I had some of my favorite people in a reading with me tonight. They're twins. They were born a minute apart. They cannot come separately because they show such a beautiful way that the same energy expresses. Remember, it expresses in a spectrum. And instead of it just being a mirror image of one another, it's like this. It's fascinating. Yeah. They should add lives. I've made the request and they've noted it. So, but yeah, they've noted it. They're very receptive to feedback. This is the most amazing space to work with, and it's a diverse team. Every shape, every size, every color, every age, every ethnicity, every identity. Like, they're not just talk. They're like they live it, and it's a really cool organization to be associated with. I don't get kickbacks or anything. I don't get affiliate commissions. Um, I get to help make something I use that works, you know. And for me, that's great, and it helps other people. So yeah, so you guys have actually tested out the Patreon stuff as we've gone along, like the chat feature, which I guess we're getting like more channels, so I can make it tier specific now. So super cool. And in 2024, I know they're probably going to be working on some stuff that would be cool for me. But there's a new thing we're going to be trying out. So I can't talk about it because it's public. So we'll see. If I get chosen to test it out, you guys will find out about it anyway. So cool beans. Well, guys, it's been about an hour, and this wasn't so much about the astrology, but I'll remind you that it's a bumpy ride. It's just a bumpy ride. Be kind to yourself, be gentle. Be careful in public spaces tomorrow. So, Twinsy, are you still around? When I saw that Twinsy, I was like, what? You've been on my mind. Cool. Oh, you're going to rest? Okay. I'll text you. We'll make a time to talk. Talk to you later, guys.